We're going to take it back a little bit. I don't know how far you want to go, but I kind of want to get into the history. I know that's a little boring, but I want to find out.
I don't think it's boring. I like my history. I think it's interesting.
I think you also have an interesting history as well.
No, I'm just mean like people have probably always
boring for everyone else.
People are always like, hey, let's talk about the beginning on every podcast you've ever been to. But where do you want to start? Because I kind of want to get more into like the entertainment field. So
I was born in a tiny farmhouse.
Were you?
Yes, and
like Jesus.
I was sent from the planet Krypton. Two farmers found me.
That's so beautiful.
I lifted a tractor and
somehow
saved my baby brother.
How'd you get into internet videos then? Because it seems like you could have just streamlined into success from there.
I was saving the world as Superman, living as Superman, and someone said, "Hey, you should try YouTube."
Cool.
And you were like, "That's a good pivot."
Yeah, it was pretty good. No, I just how did I get into? Oh, I was just doing stand up one night.
Yeah.
At the Improv, and David was in the audience, and I walked off stage and he was like, he had his camera and he had his he used to wear a hat. He was like, "Hey, can you come do that bit tomorrow in my vlog?"
And you're like, "Yes, random kid. What's a vlog first?"
Yeah. And I knew who he was, and I was like, "Oh yeah, for sure." And then back then, you guys know you always get asked to be in little internet videos, and that's just kind of what we do. And so I went over, and then it went good. And I was like, "Oh, I'll never hear from him again." Whatever. He's a kid. And then he called me that night, and that was it. I just got really lucky, and I was just really, really lucky to meet him, and I was lucky that we had the same sensibility and stuff. So yeah, that was it. And that was like 4 or 5 years ago. Wow.
But even before that, I think you had a really cool history because you had an internship at SNL.
Yes, I worked.
Really?
I worked there
Wow.
as an intern on Adam Sandler's last year. And then I worked there when Will Ferrell and David Koechner came in and Tracy Morgan.
That's crazy.
Not a bad crew.
It was great. It was great.
What was it like kind of being someone in comedy then being around those comedic minds? Were you intimidated? Were you just felt blessed that did you feel like you were maybe on the same level? What was kind of...
No, totally intimidated and totally, I was only 20 years old or 21 years old, and I didn't even know anything about comedy or anything, and I wasn't funny.
So how'd you get the internship then?
Oh, so I was in college, and they have an internship program, and you just apply. So I applied to Dateline, and I applied to Saturday Night Live. And I didn't really want Dateline, but I thought, okay, if I don't get Saturday Night Live, maybe I'll go do Dateline. Because back then I was maybe gonna be a journalist. But then I did acid, and I didn't.
As you do.
I didn't want to be a journalist anymore.
Nice.
And so then, my mother drove me down to 30 Rock from Boston.
And she was always pretty supportive of, because I mean, especially traditionally, even nowadays, this is a tough lifestyle to tell your parents you're getting into. How did you kind of break the news to her that you weren't going to go traditional route, the safer route?
Oh, it was the worst. Yeah. It was the worst. It was after my sister's softball game, and I was in the car with my mom and dad. We were in a Burger King parking lot, and I was like, "I want to be a comedian." And they were like,
"What age was this?"
I was probably 19, something like that. And my father, he just goes, "Well, you're not funny. Your sister's the funny one." Like that.
Wow, thanks, Dad.
And he was right. My sister is the funny, is way funnier than me.
What does your sister do nowadays?
She created 30 Rock.
Oh, not bad.
Yeah, no. my sister's Tina Fey. She's a computer programmer. But you guys know, you all grew up with funny people. And I don't know if you were the funniest kid in your high school.
Yeah, of course he was.
Maybe he was, but I wasn't.
No.
Yeah.
And so I had 10 friends in Boston that were funnier than me. Just everybody, but it was just something that I really, really wanted to do, and I just
Boston humor is some of my favorite because it's just busting balls to the absolute max.
Yeah,
and then nobody gets offended by anyone else, but you just go in and in and in, especially if you're friends.
Yeah,
that's what I love about Australia. Australia is exactly like that.
But no, what made you have that conversation with your parents? What made you this is something I want to pursue? What lit that kind of fire?
Honestly, I couldn't see myself doing anything else. I had some office jobs, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I guess I got to try this. And I don't know. If I had to do it over again, I probably would just pussy out and not do it.
Really?
Even if you know it worked out, eventually took too long.
Yeah, I was even after knowing all of this, is you'd still
No.
give up.
If I knew I would have made it, then yeah, I would have done it.
I mean, if
Well,
anyone
yeah,
knows
that's
they're going to
everyone.
make it, yeah, obviously.
But I wouldn't have leaped for it at all.
I feel the
maybe
same
now.
way. If I had, do you guys ever feel that way? If you ever had the chance to redo it, do you think you would have gone the same route and done it? Not
think
knowing your
100%.
outcome.
I think it would have started sooner.
Yeah, I definitely would have
Yeah.
started sooner. If like not knowing if I could take back one piece of knowledge, it would be that I didn't really need college for this. You know, like I learned everything just watching YouTube tutorials of like
Just you,
how
by
to
the way.
edit, how to make music, blah blah blah, how to podcast, like all that stuff. So
I would also say I don't recommend starting sooner because somebody that started at 13 years old, traumatizing.
well, I'm not saying starting sooner as a
Traumatizing.
teenager, but like jumping into it at like 19, you know, or 18 or something like that, like out of high school, rather than, you know, waiting for a few years after college and stuff. And then just
There's also a burnout factor too. Like there's lots of people that start at 18 and achieve everything and they burn out. You
What-
know, so like your road is your road, and
Did you before the vlogs? Did you have continued success in the entertainment industry, or were
No.
you feel like you were struggling?
Wait, is this? I have this picture of you on. Were you on Sweet Life on Deck?
he's about to start crying.
no, I don't know what that is.
Wait, or Sweet Life? Were you?
Oh,
on
I was on Drake and Josh.
Drake and Josh.
Yeah. I got Sweet Life with Zach and Cody. Is that what
Yeah.
that is? Is Sweet Life on Deck? Is that a spinoff?
Oh, I don't know why I keep saying Sweet Life on Deck. It is a spinoff.
That's a porno spinoff that we just watched between us.
It's,
So.
it's really tough with TV shows with you guys because when you guys were watching those shows, I was like, you know, fucking having kids, you know. So it's,
Oh my
so
God.
it's tough. Like a lot of the references, I'm like, I know what Sweet Life is, but yes, I was on Drake and Josh.
We'll,
Okay.
we'll get
I
back
had one
to.
line.
No, it was kind of funny the episode. We had Josh on recently, and
I saw.
and he he really likes you. But
That's
I was
nice.
I was
I
gonna
like him too.
I was gonna talk about
Josh, the funniest,
he's so genuine and like
very genuine,
Yeah.
so, like
and a
you,
skilled comedic technician.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And knows how to read a room and run a
Yeah,
room
yeah,
and
yeah,
make
yeah,
sure
yeah,
everything's going the right way.